Hey guys, this is Christy Carlson Romano. You may know me as the voice of Kim Possible and Ren from Even Stevens. And you are watching The Fan Club.
Hi everybody, thanks for coming to the panel.
Hello.
Usually I'm used to the tables being in the middle, so I'm kind of like, oh wow, I have to sit this way. I'm going to kind of ignore you. You're fine.
So I think we'll kind of just keep it conversational.
Of course.
If somebody wants to start off with an easy question.
Yeah.
Oh, you love it. Thank you.
Or a big marker.
They're the best, yeah. Did you get paid to say that?
No, I did not. I should have. Not an ad. This is a pretty cool room too.
Yes, it's very pretty.
I'm very impressed with Iowa.
Yeah.
I've never been here, but
Woo!
I really like everybody that's come to my table. They're really polite. In fact, some people have been kind of like falling back and a little nervous. So I'm like, no, come on. So everyone's super polite.
They're very.
And I had an amazing brat that was served here. So if you guys are hungry, I suggest the brat. I had two.
All right, who wants to start? I can start if no one wants
She
to start.
can't start. She has questions. I know
many
that somebody
questions.
told me. He does.
Maybe it's a camera or something.
Yeah, question for you. So of your 3 Disney adventures, what was your favorite between Even Stevens, Kim Possible, or Cadet Kelly?
Wow. Well, I think that's a really great way of looking at it. It's like adventures. I definitely think that, things like being in front of the camera or things like being behind the camera or even being a voice actor, they're all very different experiences. So I was lucky enough to be able to kind of do it all. I think that I found over time the thing that's been really rewarding. I've done Broadway as well. I was Belle in Beauty and the Beast on Broadway actually when I was 19, and that was an amazing experience and its own adventure as well. But I would say that since doing Comic-Cons, we weren't allowed to initially do Comic-Cons for some reason. Disney was like anti-Comic-Con for a while.
Oh wow,
And then
okay.
Comic-Cons I think have since grown in sort of their reach. And like they're just for families and they're not as niche anymore. Everyone comes,
Mm-hmm.
And it's really great because I've learned how much good Kim Possible has done for a lot of, girls, and now they're women and they're showing their daughters and their families or their sons and everything, and they're like, hey, this is a good role model, So I'm really proud of that work, and I kind of stand by that there. So
Awesome.
That was the best adventure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll talk for days. Try not to.
Oh, I don't know, some guy in the
Superman?
Yeah. Superman.
Yes.
If we were planning on rebooting the series, would you voice Kim Possible yet?
I would hope, I'm sure that Will Friedle would as well, who played Runstoppable. We sometimes appear at Comic-Cons together as well, so we're all still in touch. We even travel with Ryder Strong from Boy Meets World sometimes, and I
That's
think
cool.
he was also on the show was it Brick? I don't know if you guys remember Brick, the stupid football player. It was Ryder Strong, believe it or not. And we just
Oh, wow.
had so many amazing,
Sean.
talented people. I would hope
That's
that
cool.
Disney would be smart enough not to just like throw the baby with the bathwater, and keep what was working, which was, I think, the talent that was like living through the animation, and kind of just don't mess up with the thing. So if the reboot happens, yeah, I'm definitely down for that.
Let's hope it happens. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I think, and I encourage you guys as fans to just tweet Disney Channel. You know what I mean? Like, be like, I just met Christy. She's like, she told me to do this. But yeah, it's like they really do respond to fans. The whole reason why Kim Possible even got a 4th season was because of you guys and the fans that wrote in. So yeah, we suggest you guys do that to make it happen. Yes.
Were there any roles on Disney or any other channels you auditioned for that you were really hoping you would get, but didn't end up happening?
That's a good question. I went to college at 18, and by that point, it was still a couple of years from High School Musical. I feel like if High School Musical had like been in the ethers of being made, I probably would have wanted to try to get into that franchise. Just because, well, and I don't know if everyone knows, but Even Stevens had a musical episode.
Mm-hmm, yep, yes it did.
Went to the moon in 1969, and you haven't heard it. It's a jam. But yeah, so we were the first musical episode of anything on Disney Channel, and they even still tout it as being like one of the biggest milestones of Disney Channel. It's in like their board somewhere. It's like that musical episode was such a milestone. So from there, I think they saw that there was success with a musical element in the like camera space, and they made it into something. And there you go. So I guess in a way, I wish that there could have been something more musical for me while I was there, but I think everything worked out the way it was supposed to.
So you sing.
Oh yeah, I've been on Broadway.
I'd love to sing. You were great just now.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I did. I had a record deal. I started in theater because I'm from Connecticut and New York City, sort of is like right there. So I started in theater. And I did Broadway at an early age before going to Los Angeles to work for Disney. And then right at 18, I went to college in New York City and was offered an audition to be Belle, and ended up booking that and was Belle on Broadway. So yeah, I was Belle for like 8 or 9 months. It was exhausting, super, super exhausting. So, and then I was in a show called Avenue Q some years later, if you guys know, and I learned how to be a puppeteer, which is in my special skills section now on my resume. Yeah. Huh?
Did you do the theme song Teacher's Pet?
For which?
Teacher's Pet?
Oh yeah, Teacher's Pet, I did do that. Yeah, good on you. I had a compilation CD that Disney had because when I had the record deal, it was like, you know, the time of Lindsay Lohan getting a record deal, and, you know, everybody and their mother, even I think, you know, Hilary Duff and all of us were getting record deals. And, you know, it was just that time, you know, and I had done a bunch of different random songs for Disney Channel, so they compiled it all onto one CD, or actually it was my suggestion. And then that's what's out there now if you guys ever stumble upon it.
Oh, fun. So you're a strong woman on screen and off screen.
I did.
You suggested they compile it.
I did it.
You led the way for High School Musical.
HBSE.
Yeah, you in the hat.
So do you have like a preferred medium? You prefer theater, live filming, voice acting, or preference? Or?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I mean, people will ask me that, and I say I just like working, you know. And like in my industry, it's a very competitive industry, and even in each of those mediums, like you said, each of them has their own competition. So like I auditioned, or I had a callback to play Cher in a Broadway show coming to Broadway in the coming months, and it like that kind of audition to sing and to show up and, you know, to be Cher. I mean, like, there's like a whole different bag of talent, and and the competitiveness of that is so different than like going to you know, an audition for a new sitcom or TV show or something. Everything is its own adventure, or everything is its own challenge, you know. So ultimately, the best thing that I can do is just continue to grow my talent, I guess you could say, or just stay focused, so that whenever something comes up, which is hard to do, I have a 13-month-old, and I'm, you know, tempted to just kind of do my own movies and to make my own things. But you still, even if you're people who want to like create your own podcasts or create your own demo for your own voiceover stuff, like you still want to be going out, and, you know, someone was telling me that they had gotten an offer. I don't know if he's here, but he got cast in an anime, or he had an opportunity to be in an anime show, but he had to fly himself to London if he was going to be able to do that. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of extra work to get yourself your first credit, you know. So sometimes it's just about sacrifice. I don't know where I'm going with that. I've got mom brain. Any of you guys moms out there know what I mean? Yeah, I see some.
Well, congratulations. 13
Oh, yeah.
years old.
Yeah, she's everything. And if you guys go to my Instagram, I'm on there a lot. I'm also on Twitter. I've just decided that I like Twitter. Okay, like I've not really been on there, and then I did that thing where you could like just see my Instagram posts pop up on Twitter, and so I felt like that wasn't fair to Twitter. So then I gave Twitter a shot in the last couple days, and I'm like, you know what? I think I get it finally. I think I finally get why it makes sense and why people use it. It's just kind of fun. I think I was taking it too seriously, and I think Twitter's not, as long as you're not saying threatening or mean things, I think like Twitter can be a really fun thing. So I'm gonna try to post more on Twitter. But so I'm at Christy Romano on Twitter. I'm at the Christy Carlson Romano, verified on Instagram, and I have tons of pictures of Izzy. Isabella is my daughter, so she's all over.
It's interesting to hear you say Christy Romano. I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but you're like a three-name person.
Yeah.
Like, you're not Christy Carlson, you're not Christy Romano. Like, you're just three names in my head.
Yeah.
What are the three?
CCR, Christy Carlson Romano.
Oh my gosh, you like Cedar Rapids, CR? Whoa, nice. What are the three names?
Christy Carlson
What's your whole
Romano.
name? You've had all three? Your
Oh,
whole
but
name?
these are not my names. My middle name is Michelle. So the idea of the three names is just that my mom, her maiden name is Carlson. And I just don't remember why or how, why that even had to happen. But before I knew it, it stuck. And then I was really stuck with it. And I tried. I think at one point to start going by Christy Romano. Like, you know, Debbie Gibson was going by Deborah Gibson at one point. It's like, you can't change your name once it's kind of made. You kind of have to live with it. So it's me. That's who I am. It's fine. That's my professional name.
Okay, but in your personal life, you're just...
Well, Christy Rooney. That's my married name now. So I'm Irish. I'm Italian now. I'm Irish.
Oh,
But it's good because my initials or whatever, they stay the same. So
CR forever.
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that's cool.
Anyone else have a question?
Going back to theater again, first off, what did you play in After the Cube? And kind of the derail on that.
Sure, yeah, I was.
What is your favorite theater experience in that?
Oh wow. I think that one actually. I was Kate Monster and Lucy Slut. Sorry if there's children in the audience. That is the character, and if you know Avenue Q, you know that that's part of the humor. So yeah, I was that it was like it's a track, they call it, so that you do multiple characters, and so that was amazing. Avenue Q really was my favorite. Granted, I loved dressing up as Belle, meeting all the little girls, and you know, getting roses. Like they would buy roses and then they would give me a rose at the end.
Uh-oh.
And I'd make sure that even if I was super duper tired, I would stay for every single person, every single night. And that was a beautiful experience, because now I'll have girls come up to me that are, you know, in their 20s, and they'll be like, I came to see you. You were my first, you know, experience in theater, and I gave you a rose. And that's really, really rewarding. So life's good. That way.
Yeah.
Did you ever expect your kid brother on Even Stevens to get as big as he got?
Yeah, I did actually.
Did you really?
Yeah, Shia, we always knew Shia was going to hit it big. It's also easier in our industry for men than it is for women. I think there's just less men. There's so many women that want to be actresses. You know, I think he's really a funny person. I really wish that Shia LaBeouf would go back to comedy. I think that he might even be a happier person for it, maybe. But I think that he's just got something special about him that makes people laugh. And
Just
he's
do it.
crazy for it, you know. But I think like his talent is so big that we kind of already knew that when he was young, he was going to do big things, you know. Yeah.
Do you stay in touch with him?
No, and that's like the number one question I get. I think we were trading messages through Instagram at one point when he was doing something, and I was like, hey man, I got your back on this or something. He's like, thanks sis. And like he actually saw my husband, who was a Marine, or is always a Marine, but he was at a shooting range, and then he was also there shooting. So not manly at all. But he was shooting, and then he goes, oh, I'm training for Man Down, which is a movie that Shia did where he played a homeless veteran.
Okay.
I guess he was surrounded by a bunch of military guys who were giving him giving him grief, or like giving him like they were giving him a hard time because they were having to train him as if he was a real recruit. And you know, if anyone's been in the military here, they know that boot camp is really tough. So he did go up to him though, and he says, "Hey man, like I'm Christy's husband," and he goes, "Oh, tell sis I said hi." So he calls me sis. So even if we don't see each other, we have each other's backs.
So your husband is a Marine.
Former Marine, but I guess they say once a Marine, always a Marine.
So has he seen Cadet Kelly? Does he?
Yeah, I know, right? I remember when I first started dating him, I was like, well, you have to see he was telling me horrible boot camp stories. You know, he's like, oh, no, I had to do this, and oh my God. I was like, well, I did Cadet Kelly, and I was in Canada, and I was, you know, throwing a gun up in the air for a whole summer, getting paid thousands and thousands of dollars. You know? So, yeah, he did see that. I think he laughed.
You got to have a really pretty dress in that movie, right? Was there like a ball or something?
There was a ball,
okay,
yeah, and I had to, yeah. But everyone who knows that movie, my hair gets painted or something crazy, but it wasn't real hair. They clipped it on. They pre-painted it.
So they didn't ruin your real hair.
No,
Oh, thank goodness.
no, of course not. Let's see. Yes.
So not only were you in like animated Disney things and live action stuff, you've also done some video games like Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
How is that different? How did you get into that?
Yeah, UV, I think I auditioned for that, but I was already doing Kim Possible, so they had a reference for my voice, and I think they thought that it was youthful and fun, and I only did that one, and then Mae Whitman took over for me. Actually, I had creative differences with the director, which was really weird, but it was great, and I could originate her. I was in Kingdom Hearts, and I was in the Final Fantasy VII, I believe.
Know that.
Yuffie was a really fun character, but I can't say that she was that different from Kim Possible for me. You know, like she's still youthful. You know, she was a little more squeaky, a little more like perky, if that's possible. But it is, and yeah, that was like so quick that happened. Video games aren't that different from animation. They really aren't, and they shouldn't be, because video games now are so sophisticated that you want the acting to be as if it was a better version of acting. It should be as if, you know, you're on screen. Actually, that's what most voice actors will tell you, that you need to be able to act in order to be a good voice actor.
Do you like voice acting?
Yeah.
Like, on the whole? Do you like it more than?
Yeah, no, I feel like we've gotten the question a couple times, and like, I can't really pick. I just, like I said, like I just enjoy working, but like, I do think that it's easier to just show up, you know, and get out of bed and not have to, you know, go through makeup and stand on your feet for 12 hours, you know, and then like you really are only there for a session for a couple of hours, and it's all you, all your character, and then, you know, and then you're done. So it's kind of a semi-charmed life that way. But there is some stress though. I mean, like when you're in the show, like when I was doing Kim Possible, I had to keep my voice up, and at the time I was in college and I was exhausted, or I was partying, and like getting back into the Kim Possible mind frame was kind of tough at the time. But now I don't think it'd be as much of a problem anymore. No more late night studying anymore. So.
Yeah, you in the back.
Yeah, actually, I am a kind of a recurring voice in Disney Channel's Big Hero 6, which is the creators of Kim Possible, Bob and Mark, are doing. So that'll be out. I don't think that'll be out for a while though. And I'm trying to think what else. I had definitely been out there, guys. If you Google me, you can see I have a Lifetime movie called Deadly Daycare, where I steal a baby. I steal a baby. Everything's okay by the end of it, though. Spoiler alert.
I want to watch it.
And then I produced and I directed my directorial debut, a movie called Christmas All Over Again, which is a total family-friendly Christmas movie that came out. I guess it's now crazy 2 years ago.
I think we saw this.
But Lionsgate distributed that, and I'm directing more and more now, and I'm really enjoying that, being on like the other side of the camera and being in charge. I'm trying to think what else is coming out. I have a couple of movies in development right now. So things are happening. I'm launching my blog, ChristyRomano.com, which is going to be all about my life and motherhood and anything else people might be interested in for me. So that'll be April. That'll be coming out too. So.
Exciting.
Yeah.
You seem like you're very grounded, even though you have so many things going on.
Yeah, I think when I was growing up, my family, I'm the youngest of 4 in like East Coast Italian family, and they're pretty tough. So I was always brought home. Anytime I would go home, or I would still be, take the trash out, like do this, do that, like act right, have manners, and also education was important in my family too. So staying in Hollywood and like staying in that bubble was not an option. It was more about like, okay, this is great and you've done this, but your life is going to have more chapters than this. So that's kind of, I think, what helped me stay grounded. And then like being with a former Marine kind of helps you stay grounded. Like I said, like he's telling me these crazy stories, and then it's like, how can I not stay grounded with somebody like that and just be appreciative of, someone like that who's done so much for our country. So yeah.
What was it like to go from Disney Channel to doing something like 180 degrees difference with voicing Family Guy?
Oh yeah, that was fun. Yeah, no, Family Guy's fun. I mean, Seth's a very talented producer and writer, and he knows his audience. I mean, he definitely goes crazy gross when he can. When we were doing Family Guy, I just did 2 episodes. One I was kind of partially cut out of, and they replaced me with the woman who plays Shigo. They replaced me. And I was like, did you not think I would know this? Like, did you not think that I wouldn't, like, eventually see the episode? Like, you guys to give it to me on the DVD for years? So, anyway, it's okay. There's a little bit of gossip right there. They did a read-through with the Fox executives, and I was there. And, like more than half the jokes were cut because they were so gross. So the stuff that you see that makes it to the Family Guy floor isn't nearly as bad and inappropriate as what Fox cut. So yeah, that's that experience. Very different. Yes.
So what made you go from theater to voice acting and acting like in general?
I don't know. I think that when you're singing, and I was in musicals mostly, using your voice is kind of very similar to how you're going to approach a character. If any of you guys are, and a couple people were interested in how to get into the voiceover industry, and I said that I would address it in the panel today. And so, I do think there's something to that. I think that when you're approaching a character, I definitely think if you were to take voice lessons at singing even, like that wouldn't hurt you, because then you'd know what your voice is capable of doing, and just getting to learn your voice, like, oh, my voice cracks when I do this. So if I was going to play a nerdy character, I would use that, you know what I mean? But if you're not familiar with your voice, then how do you know what to do? Once you're familiar with your voice, I would suggest that you make a demo. You could even use your phone, if you have an iPhone in particular. You can go into voice memos and then go into a quiet room that's preferably padded, and you just record this demo. And then eventually, if you can learn how to edit it together, maybe look at tutorials on how to edit a memo together to make like one, I don't know, on GarageBand or whatever you can do there. But I actually I'm represented by William Morris, which is a big agency for voiceovers, and they say that if you can't make it to a proper studio, you can record it on your iPhone through the memos. So if you guys absolutely had to and you wanted to experiment, I would suggest doing a demo like this, and listen to the radio, listen to what you think you can imitate. If you think you have a really good boy voice, like little boy voice, and you're a females can sometimes do really great little boy voices. Or if you are, I don't know, trying to think, if you can imitate anybody that you like to cosplay or that you're interested in or you just are a huge fan of, like, use that, put that on that demo. From there, you're going to have to probably look into local casting offices or even stuff you can submit online. This is a really good, and any of you guys who are really, really interested in this, write this down. It's called ACX. It's like a casting website for people who might want to do like audiobooks or other things that are, I think, voiceover related. And you can submit your demo or submit an audition to the employer directly, so ACX. Just did this.
Lots of tidbits. Yeah. Oh, that's great info. If you weren't acting, what do you think you'd be doing? You seem like you would be like a good teacher to me or something.
Ooh,
You seem like
glasses though.
maybe it's
Glasses.
oh no, not a good teacher anymore.
I don't know what I do now. I think I would have probably enjoyed politics. I do. I think I would have enjoyed running for office, being I guess you would call it a public servant. But doing something like that would have, because then I would have felt like I was touching people's lives in that way and making a difference. And I'm so blessed and lucky that I have been able to touch the lives of some young women over these years and hopefully been any kind of a decent influence on them, you know. So I've been really lucky that way, and I would have probably gravitated towards that.
Oh, yeah, I think that's good. You could still do that.
I guess it
Yeah.
takes a lot of money though to do that stuff, you know, to be
council member.
Yeah, I guess that could happen. That could happen. We'll see.
Think about it.
We'll see. Thank you. Thank you for your vote of confidence.
Yeah, you've got a Twitter.
Yeah.
You've got a blog. What do you need? At that point, yeah.
True that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a theater director, friend, life tale that you'd like to be part of at some point?
Oh, always wanted to be Eponine in Les Mis. Always wanted to be Maureen in Rent. That was the Idea Menzel
Ooh.
role.
Would you do it now though that
She
you have a
is
daughter?
fine.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, that's rough.
You're okay with that? I mean, I'm okay with that.
I guess I would. There's worse things. There's worse things that I would not do. I can assure you, that would be the worst thing that I would ever do. But yeah, that's a good point. But Eponine, yeah, is pretty stellar. So yeah.
Oh yeah, beautiful voice. tiny
A lot of theater questions. Is theater big in Iowa?
Yeah?
Across the street from her.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, that's really great. That makes me happy. Yes. Yeah, I mean, there's some things you can use, like throat coat is this tea. You could get it online on Amazon, or you could get it probably at like, if you guys have a Whole Foods type kind of place here, I don't know, like that. I don't know, or it's a Hy-Vee it's called here. I don't know if they have, they might have it at Hy-Vee. I heard that has a gluten-free aisle, so they probably have some stuff like that there. But yeah, throat coat is really, really helpful for you guys. If you ever find yourself, you know, I have a presentation, or you know, I just feel really scratchy. Throat coat is really great for that stuff. Yeah. Yes.
So I know a lot of people can get discouraged about trying to get into entertainment.
Uh-huh.
By like how competitive it is.
Mhm.
So what advice would you give to avoid being discouraged?
Well, I really wouldn't give you the type of advice that you would think I'd give you, because honestly, if you're gonna get discouraged, then it's not for you. This is kind of like a war of attrition, it's called. I mean, like it's like whoever is last to be standing, and then even then it's still as competitive. It's like, that's just, it's really the name of the game. And that's coming from a person who's been at it for a really, really long time. Now, that being said, it doesn't mean you shouldn't try. Do you know what I mean? You just have to be very realistic, especially as an adult, because when you're a kid, there's a lot less, there's more opportunity and less competition. So chances are, if your kid is cute and willing, and you are committed, and it's not gonna like damage your family dynamic, which I stress that, then get your kid into print, make some money, store it away for them. Don't go buy a car with it, like save it for your kid. And if it gets too stressful, stop. But I mean, when you're an adult, understand that it's like, you're gonna have to not make money, doing this for quite some time before you find your niche. You're not gonna stumble into some huge thing for yourself. You have to build your career, and then eventually you have to find filmmakers that you want to work with, and then you have to get a reel. Just like if you were to do a reel for your voiceover acting, you have to do a reel, or find a way to get a reel. So what I usually encourage people to do is that if you guys like live near a film school, or the closest film school in Iowa, a lot of those people their projects are to have to do, short films. And so for you to get on those short films would then be material for you from professional filmmakers or aspiring professional filmmakers. Probably more at a graduate level would probably be better if there was one like that. Not necessarily the undergrad, because that's just a little harder. But if you just want to learn how to be on set and you want to learn alongside with students like that, then go ahead and do that at the undergraduate level. But at the graduate level is where you could actually make a reel for yourself over time. And then from there you're going to find representation online and, you know, all sorts of different things that I'm sure you can listen to things other than what I'm telling you here.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're close to the University of Iowa, which has a
Oh, yeah?
great film program.
There you
University of
go.
Northern Iowa has a good film program.
Awesome.
So there we go.
There you go. Totally.
Right.
And they're always
Guys
looking
over
for
here.
talent, guys. Always. Yes.
I hope it's not mean to keep asking about co-stars, but
No, it's totally fine.
is Will Friedle as awesome as I
He
think
is.
he is?
Yeah, no, he is. And I'm so lucky when we get to do Comic-Cons together because he makes me laugh. When we do our panels, it's way funnier than what I'm doing right here. I'm sorry, guys. It's just, you're only getting the 50% here. When Will's there, he's hilarious.
I love to see.
He's exactly how you think he is. He's just that guy. He's